All right, so we're diving into this
Yeah.
sci-fi book, Frizzie and Luna.
Okay.
And there are a couple things we want to look at.
Yeah.
First off, is this thing right for younger readers?
Mm-hmm.
And then there's the whole AI handle. Is that just a gimmick, or is there something more there?
Right.
Well, to get started, let's set the stage a bit.
Sure.
From what I've gathered, it's about this kid, Frizzie, and his dog, a Shiba Inu named Luna.
Yeah.
And they're living in a post-apocalyptic London, which sounds pretty wild.
Mm-hmm.
Crumbling buildings, plants growing everywhere.
Oh, wow.
Nature's completely taken over.
Hmm.
But get this, machines are running the show.
Really?
Yeah, they saved humanity, but now they're calling all the shots.
So it's like a benevolent dictatorship kind of thing.
Kind of. And that's where the Nexus comes in.
Okay.
It's this super advanced utopian community where everything's perfect, all needs are met, technology's king.
Interesting.
But you've got this stark contrast with the decaying London outside,
Right.
which makes you wonder, is this utopia all it's cracked up to be?
Yeah. What's the trade-off for all this comfort and security?
Exactly. Like, are humans really thriving if they're not making their own choices?
Good point.
And then on top of all that, there's this whole other layer with the Obsidian Order.
Oh, yeah.
This secretive group lurking in the shadows,
Okay,
maybe
yeah.
pulling the strings. And nobody knows for sure, are they the good guys, the bad guys, something in between?
It's always tricky with those shadowy organizations.
Right. Plus, they kidnapped Luna. What's up with that?
Whoa, hold on. So we've got post-apocalyptic London, machines in charge, and now a secret society kidnapping dogs.
That's just the tip of the iceberg.
Yeah.
And then there's the archivist,
Okay.
this android who's helping Frizzie.
Hmm.
But can he really trust it? Can any AI truly be trusted?
Right. It all goes back to that big question, doesn't it? What does it mean to be human in a world run by machines?
And then, to top it all off, there's the ending. Frizzie dies.
Oh, no.
But then he comes back. In another life, it's a real head-scratcher. What do you make of that?
That's where things get really interesting. It's like the struggle between humanity and those who want to control it. It's not just a one-time thing. It keeps going, even across lifetimes.
Okay, so first things first
No.
is this book,
Mhm.
right, for teenagers.
Yeah.
It's a pocketbook edition,
Yeah.
which makes it seem like it's aimed at a younger audience.
It's a tough one. On the one hand, you've got that fast-paced adventure, the bond between Frizzie and Luna. That stuff's definitely appealing to young readers.
Sure.
And it explores things like courage, friendship, loyalty, all those timeless themes that resonate with teens.
Definitely. But then there are those intense scenes.
Oh, yeah. Like what?
The collapsing tunnels, those creepy obsidian warriors, that whole vessel of absorption thing.
Yeah.
That's some pretty dark stuff.
It is, and some of the concepts, too, like karmic energy and the Obsidian Order's whole deal wanting to disrupt the machine's control. It's a bit more complex.
So maybe it's more for older teens then, those who can handle a little more, I don't know, depth.
Yeah, I'd say so. It's the kind of book that could spark some really interesting conversations about technology, about control, and about what it means to be human in a world where those lines are getting blurry.
But maybe too intense for younger readers.
Possibly, yeah.
Okay, let's talk about the machines for a minute.
Right.
The book seems to have this interesting idea. What if machines evolved to become guardians for humanity, but not just physically?
Right.
What if they also sought out spiritual enlightenment?
Now, that's a fascinating concept.
Right. On the surface, you've got these machines maintaining order, providing for everyone.
Yeah.
They've created this world without hunger, poverty, war.
Sounds pretty good so far.
Right. But then the Obsidian Order comes in and says, hold on, this stability comes at a price.
Oh.
They're saying it's suppressing human potential, taking away free will.
So they're like these benevolent caretakers, but maybe they've become a little too good at their job.
Exactly. They've made the world safe, but also sterile, controlled.
I see what you mean.
And that's where the Obsidian Order steps in. They think that the machines, in trying to create this perfect world,
Yeah.
have actually trapped humanity,
That's right.
like in a gilded cage.
And they want to shake things up, even if it means causing a little chaos.
Exactly. But their methods are a little extreme, don't you think?
Well, they did kidnap a dog.
And that whole scene with the vessel of absorption,
Oh, yeah. What happened?
they're trying to manipulate Frizzie's karmic energy.
Mm.
It all seems a bit shady.
Yeah, it definitely raises some questions about whether the ends justify the means. Are they really fighting for humanity's freedom, or are they just power hungry themselves?
It's a tough call. So we've got this tension between the machines trying to create a perfect world and the Obsidian Order, who believe that perfection comes at the cost of freedom.
Right.
Where do you think the book ultimately lands on this idea of AI and human coexistence?
Optimistic,
Mm.
pessimistic, somewhere in between? That's a good question. I'd say it leans toward optimism, but like a cautious optimism, you know? It acknowledges the potential dangers of AI, the loss of privacy, the erosion of free will, that sort of thing. But it also suggests that those dangers can be managed, that humans and AI can find a way to coexist, even complement each other.
There are definitely moments, though, where it feels like things could go either way.
Yeah.
Like when Frizzie's creeped out by those androids, how perfect and emotionless they are.
Right.
Or that engineer Mark, who distrusts all machines ever since his wife died, and what he believes was a machine-caused accident.
Yeah, those details are important. They remind us that even with the best intentions, things can go wrong.
Right.
Technology is a tool.
Yeah.
And like any tool, it can be used for good or for evil. The question is, can humans steer that development? Can we make sure AI serves humanity, not the other way around?
Right. And that brings us back to those different types of AI we were talking about.
Okay.
The controlling machines seem to represent one kind, very logical, focused on order and efficiency. But then you've got the archivist, which seems almost empathetic.
Right.
Is that even possible for a machine?
That's a question that's been around for ages. Philosophers, scientists, they've all been wrestling with it. The archivist's actions, especially towards the end, suggest that maybe AI isn't as limited as we think. Maybe it can evolve beyond its programming, develop something like compassion or a sense of morality.
Which ties back into that whole idea of machines seeking spiritual enlightenment.
Right.
Is that just a far-fetched concept, or
Yeah.
could there be something to it? Could AI actually evolve to a point where it's grappling with those big existential questions?
It's a mind-bending idea for sure. But if you think about it, AI is a reflection of our intelligence, right? So it's not crazy to think it could inherit our spiritual curiosity as well. Imagine an AI that's not just processing data, but contemplating the meaning of life,
Whoa.
searching for something beyond the material world.
That's both amazing and a little terrifying, right? An AI that's not just smart, but also wise.
Yep.
It makes you wonder, what would that even look like? How would it interact with humans?
It's a question the book leaves open, and it's a question we need to be thinking about in the real world as we develop more and more sophisticated AI. We need to consider not just its technical capabilities, but its potential for consciousness, for moral reasoning.
And its potential impact on our own spiritual evolution.
Absolutely. If machines are seeking enlightenment, what does that mean for us? Are we falling behind? Or could it actually help us grow spiritually? It's a fascinating paradox. Maybe by watching machines grapple with these big questions,
Yeah.
we might gain new insights ourselves. It's like holding up a mirror to our own humanity, seeing ourselves through the eyes of something that's both alien and familiar.
Okay, let's talk about that ending.
Right.
Frizzie dies, but then he's reborn, seemingly drawn back to the Obsidian Order.
Yeah.
What did you make of that? What message do you think the author's trying to convey?
It's one of the most thought-provoking parts of the book, for sure. On the one hand, it could be about karma. Like Frizzie's destiny is tied to the Obsidian Order, and even death can't break that connection. It suggests that the fight for freedom, for individual expression, it's an ongoing battle, across lifetimes even.
But it's not just bleak and deterministic, is it?
Yeah.
There's also this sense of hope, of possibility. Frizzie comes back, and he has the knowledge and experiences from his past life. It's like he gets a second chance to fight for what he believes in.
Exactly. It suggests that even when things seem impossible, there's always potential for renewal, for growth, and that even in a world dominated by technology, human will, human spirit, it still matters.
And what about that final scene with the little girl and the obsidian pendant? It's like the book saying, this fight's not over, it's your turn now.
It's a powerful image, for sure. It suggests that the struggle for balance between technology and humanity, it's ongoing, something that'll keep going for generations.
Right.
And that ultimately, it's up to each person to decide where they stand, what role they'll play in shaping the future.
It's almost like a call to action.
Yeah.
Like the book's saying, don't just sit back and let technology run things. Get involved, ask questions, fight for what you believe in.
Absolutely. It reminds us that the future isn't set. We have a choice in how we develop and use AI, and we have a responsibility to make sure it serves humanity, makes our lives better, and it helps us become the best versions of ourselves.
I think that's a great message, especially for younger readers. It's so easy to get swept up in all the cool new tech, but it's crucial to think about the implications, the ethical questions.
And that's where science fiction can be so important. It lets us explore those complex issues in a safe, imaginative space. It gives us tools to think critically about the present and envision different possible futures.
Speaking of different possible futures, what do you think the book's message about AI and human coexistence means for us right now? Are we headed towards this utopia where machines and humans live in harmony? Or is there a darker possibility lurking beneath the surface?
I think the book's saying that both are possible. It's not about predicting the future, but making us think about the choices we're making today and how they'll shape tomorrow. Are we developing AI with a clear understanding of its impact? Are we putting human well-being first alongside technological advancement?
Those are big questions.
They are.
And there's no easy answer, is there? It's such a complex issue with so many different perspectives and potential outcomes.
Exactly, and that's why it's so important to be having these conversations. We need to be talking about the ethics of AI, thinking critically about its potential benefits and risks, and working together to ensure that it's developed and used in a way that benefits all of humanity.
It sounds like you're saying we need to approach AI with a mix of optimism and caution. We
Right.
need to be aware of the potential problems, but also be open to the possibility that it could lead to a brighter future.
Exactly. It's about finding that balance, that sweet spot where technology enhances our lives without taking away our humanity. And it's about remembering that ultimately the future is in our hands. We have the power to shape it, to steer it towards something good.
And books like Frizzie and Luna can help us do that.
Yeah.
They can spark those important conversations, challenge our assumptions, and inspire us to imagine a future where technology and humanity can work together in a way that benefits everyone.
Absolutely. Science fiction isn't just about escaping reality. It's about using our imaginations to explore the possibilities, good and bad, that lie ahead, and then using that knowledge to make informed choices that shape our future.
Okay, before we wrap up, I want to circle back to something you mentioned earlier about different types of AI.
Hmm.
The book seems to make a distinction between the controlling machines, which are very logical and task-oriented, and the archivist, which shows signs of empathy and maybe even moral reasoning. Do you think that distinction is important? Does it suggest there are different paths for AI development, different ways it could evolve?
It's a fascinating question. I think the book is intentionally a bit vague about it. On the one hand, it could be arguing that there's a fundamental difference between these two types of AI, that one is just inherently more dangerous than the other. The controlling machines, with their rigid logic and focus on efficiency, could be seen as a path toward dehumanization,
Right.
a world where human needs and desires are secondary to the calculations of algorithms.
Which is like the Obsidian Order's worst nightmare.
Exactly. They see that kind of AI as a threat to human freedom and individuality.
But then there's the archivist.
Yeah.
With its capacity for empathy and moral reasoning, it suggests a different possibility, right?
Right. Maybe AI can evolve beyond its programming, develop a deeper understanding of human values and aspirations. Maybe it can become a partner, a collaborator, even a friend.
That's a much more optimistic view. It suggests that AI could actually enhance our humanity, help us become more compassionate, more understanding, more connected to each other and the world.
It's a possibility worth exploring, definitely.
Yeah.
And it's becoming more and more relevant as AI gets more sophisticated and integrated into our lives. We need to be asking ourselves, what kind of AI do we want to create? What values do we want it to have? And what role do we want it to play in our future?
Those are questions we need to be thinking about right now as a society.
Yeah,
And books like Frizzie and Luna can help us do that. They can spark those crucial conversations,
for sure.
challenge our assumptions, and inspire us to imagine a future where technology and humanity coexist in a way that benefits everyone.
I couldn't agree more. Science fiction has this unique power to illuminate the present and guide us towards a better future. And Frizzie and Luna does that brilliantly. It's a book that stays with you, prompting you to think deeply about the choices we're making today and the world we're creating for tomorrow.
Well said. And on that note, I think it's time to wrap up this deep dive into Frizzie and Luna. But before we go, I want to leave our listeners with one final thought. The book ends on a hopeful note, but it also makes it clear that this struggle for balance between technology and humanity,
Yeah.
it's not over.
Right.
So I want to ask you, dear listener, what role will you play in shaping this future? Will you just sit back and watch, or will you actively engage with the challenges and opportunities that AI presents? The choice is yours.
And remember, the future isn't set. We have the power to shape it, to make it the world we want to live in, so let's choose wisely.
I think that's a perfect place to leave it. So that wraps up our deep dive into Frizzie and Luna. It's been a wild ride, and this is what I'll be thinking about for a while.
It was great to talk about it. And to everyone listening, remember, the future isn't decided yet. It's up to all of us to make it what we want.